Like I said, you could write a book about all the horror stories. You just have to remember that it's it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? So keep at it. There will be. There's not. There most likely will be. There will be times where you want to give up or quit or just get out of the industry altogether because you're going to get burnt between a tenant, a deal, anything. But again, if you can just kind of look at the bigger picture, that's what, at least that's what we keep telling ourselves. Look at the bigger picture because one day it will be rewarding.
So your name is Mike, I'm guessing.
Mike.
Nice to meet you. It's good to see you guys. And thank you so much for doing this. I was just brainstorming some videos, and Ryan, I just thought of you because I was like, okay, multifamily. Who do I know that's in multifamily? And we just had such a good conversation. I was like, well, it'd be fun to actually get to talk to you more about it because we've just been having a lot of members who are starting who just don't know what they really want to get into, but they want to have, they want to buy and hold, they want to build a portfolio, but just kind of going into the multifamily aspect. So I'm going to just kind of tee you guys up in the fact of like, introduce yourself a little bit. Ryan, I know we know you a bit, but just to kind of give your backgrounds of what got you into real estate investing.
Okay. And when you say multifamily, like, do you mean anything bigger than a single, or are you talking about commercial? Okay, so you're talking about like duplexes, triplexes on up.
Yes, and I know you said you got that one duplex along with the 5-unit one that we talked about, but you had gotten a duplex before. I think you sold it actually, but I know that you guys have done some duplexes. So it's anything single family up, like past that.
All right, no problem.
Perfect.
Mike, we haven't really talked, so how about you tell me a little bit about you?
Sure. Yeah. As you can tell, I graduated from UConn. Go Huskies. I graduated from UConn in 2015. Got traditional W-2 job out of college, cubicle life. Staring at my screens, and kind of realized that I didn't want to do this forever. So I started reading as much as I can, watching videos, podcasts on real estate, and I bought my first duplex in 2016 in New Britain, Connecticut. I lived in one half, rented out the other half, was really able to save the majority of my income. And from there, I bought another duplex. I did I bought one, I rehabbed it. I did a cash out refinance on one and just reused that money to expand and haven't stopped since. So I've done a couple flips, couple house hacking deals, couple cash out refinances, own some small apartment buildings, partnered with Ryan here on some larger apartment buildings, and haven't looked back.
Man, you're just taking off. I love it. All the house hacking. Because Ryan, did you say you house hacked too?
Yeah. My first property in 2012 was a duplex, and I rented out the bedrooms. It was a duplex, 3 bedrooms, a floor. So I rented out 5 bedrooms, lived in one. It was all my friends. So it was cool. It was, no big deal. They ended up moving on, and I still kind of continued that for a few years. But I'm actually house hacking as we speak right now in a triplex. Except I've upgraded. I have the whole floor instead of just a bedroom. So
way to treat yourself. That's good.
I know. Living large over here.
And what I guess going back to Mike too, I'm kind of hot back and forth. But when did you know you wanted to quit your W-2, or are you still working your W-2?
So I am still working the W-2. I'm also a real estate agent with Berkshire Hathaway. So I'm doing both right now, in addition to managing our 18 units with Ryan. So it's a lot, but it's going well. I probably realized it year one into the job just wasn't for me, but here I am 6 years later, I'm still doing it. We got sent to work from home, which has certainly helped navigate all avenues of what's going on now. So I was actually going to hand in my 2 weeks last year, March, and then COVID hit. So we got sent home, and I've kind of just been doing both ever since. So it's been a blessing, I'm able to really build up the real estate, both our portfolio and the agent business and still having that, supply of the W-2 income on the side there. So it's been very fortunate.
And then Ryan, are you working a W-2 as well?
Yeah. Yep. 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's gotten more flexible since COVID. Like I don't technically have to go in, but I do, just trying to be a good employee. I usually take Fridays to myself and kind of work from home. But yeah, I mean, I realized at some point too, it's just like, I am getting to the point where I just can't do both. It's just like, I have an office, I can shut the door. So that's the only saving grace. If I didn't have that, there's no way I could pull both off. I could take a call from Michael. I could take a call from a tenant, a contractor, a potential DealMachine lead. I can do that because I have an office. But if that were ever to change, it'd be game over. I'm kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in that regard. It's like I know I can't do this forever, so it's gonna come to an end eventually.
Well, this is gonna morph into like a whole nother thing that I'm gonna ask you guys about, because I feel like that's what a lot of people wonder is, a lot of people say, you get into real estate, get a couple deals, and then just quit your W-2. And other people are like, no, hold on to that. Wait until you feel financially comfortable to take off of that. My question for you guys, since you are doing, and we will get into multifamily, I promise, the whole point of this, but how do you juggle your life? Like, how do you juggle your W-2 job that's full-time, plus you're doing this, plus my biggest thing is you have double-digit unit numbers that you're property managing, right? You're not outsourcing that to anyone else?
No.
I have a property manager on two of my personal duplexes.
Okay.
That I just outsourced last month because it was getting to that point. But Ryan and I still manage a number, double-digit units together without a property manager. We are the property manager, so
Right.
and we're probably leaning towards going that route. I think is managing it ourselves.
Okay. Why is that?
Oh, we've gone back and forth ad nauseum on this. Like, can you justify the 8 to 10%? Should we pay ourselves the 8 to 10%? And it's hard to let go when you build something from the ground up. It's really, really hard to let go. Can someone do it as well as you have? And the other side of it is, do you want to be an investor or a landlord, right? We want to be investors. And so, are you doing yourself a disservice by limiting your time to, or devoting your time to more landlord, tasks versus future opportunities that an investor may pursue? So it's a constant struggle. I think I think we're doing a pretty good job at juggling it, time management wise, but the more you do it, the better system. You need systems. The more systems you get in place, it becomes easier and second nature. So if a tenant call comes in, it's not as immediate of an impact as it used to be. Your heart doesn't drop, or your heart doesn't sink as much anymore. So it's just systems is I think paramount.
Absolutely.
What systems, I guess, do you guys then like scale what's like kind of priority then if like a tenant calls, or I guess what kind of processes did you put in? Is it always like it has to wait until after W-2 work? Like, I guess, how do you balance that?
No, we definitely multitask during the day. I mean, Michael works from home like exclusively, and like I said, I have my office so I can shut the door. I'll take a tenant call, almost any time, not late at night unless it's like a real emergency. But no, I have no issue. I mean, at this point, we're on like a first name text basis with most contractors. So if you have a plumbing issue, I text my plumber Jacques, and he's literally there same day, within an hour, next morning, Sundays. Like it's very simple. Like, hey Ryan, sink's leaking. I text Jacques, hey Jacques, East Street, unit 1N has a leaky sink. He's there the next morning, fixed, picture, invoice, Venmo, done. Like it's literally that easy. And when I was living in Texas, like I was doing everything myself. I couldn't change a light bulb when I was, 1,500 miles away. So this is, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's like, like Michael said, it's all about just having systems, having reliable people. We just started using Buildium. I think, speak on behalf of both of us, like, I think it would be really important to start day one with like a Tenant Cloud, Buildium, Appfolio, one of those platforms, and just start clean, start fresh, put all your properties on there, just really run it like a business. Like for what, the last 7-8 years I've been doing everything on Excel. It's like, it's just not scalable. So it's worth spending, Tenant Cloud's free, but Buildium we're paying, I don't know, $150 a month. It's totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Because time is money. So what time you guys get back from that is worth, of course they start working. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back in. I do have more questions, but why did you guys start out in multifamily instead of just doing like wholesaling a single family house? And like what brought you guys into that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the income, I guess, the residual income. Like Michael and I've done a couple flips. Like it's nice to get a $50,000 payday. There's no doubt. It's a good feeling. But at the end of the day, it's like, all right, you've got a bunch of money, but then what do? It's always like you're always going back to how do I deploy this? How do I deploy this? So it's like I would much prefer building up a portfolio of rental properties and just getting that income every month as opposed to like a one-time shot. Wholesaling, I gotta be honest, like I still don't understand like 110% of like how it works. I could do it, but it's kind of this thing where it's like we're always asking our attorney like, is this right? Is this right? Are we doing this right? And so we haven't really done a true wholesale yet. So I'm just not comfortable with that. And I've got a single family that I'm renting now. I sold one a few months ago. It doesn't produce the income. It's plain and simple. It doesn't produce the income compared to like multiple units. I personally don't even do duplexes anymore. It just doesn't do it. Once you get to I think the 3-unit level, then the numbers start making more sense to me at least.
Yeah. I would say that I think we have the same mindset, flipping and wholesaling. Those are good kind of get rich quick ideas, but we're in it for the wealth building and the generational wealth building and having something you can maybe pass down to your family one day and something that, flipping and wholesaling, you're going to always have to do it to replenish. Multifamily investing and owning property and owning real estate, that's something that you can do it from your beach chair in Naples. It's not a forever thing. In worst cases, you put a property manager on it, but you've done all the hard, heavy lifting up front and the hard work up front to get you to a point where you don't really need to be doing that anymore. But if you just are purely wholesaling and flipping, you better be saving for retirement somehow. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I love that you're now saying like no more duplexes, three and up. It did that 5-unit. Do you have all of those rented out now?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that it was above a liquor store. That like killed me.
It was a what?
Didn't you say it's above a liquor store or something?
Oh, right. Yeah. Above a liquor store. Yes. Yep. It's above a liquor store. There's,
that's hot commodity then. Who doesn't want, well, probably some people, but I'm just saying.
I'm telling you, yeah, when we re-rent units, that's going to go to. It's like, if you ever need a drink, pop on downstairs. Yuresh would love to have you. It's awesome.
I love that. Okay. Something you wish you would have known before starting to invest in multifamily or before you bought your first duplex, like what is something you wish you would have known or something you learned from it?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one. So I think knowing the different types of loans you can get as a first-time home buyer, I think is huge. Take advantage of that. There's so many different low-down loan options, especially if you're first starting out. Probably most people just like us didn't have too much money to put down on a property. But if you are still working on the side, you can just compound your capital. If you can decrease your overall living expenses and just put that to somewhere else. I probably would have done a couple more like cash out refinance deals. So, bought a property distress, added some value, and then did a cash out refinance to pay myself back that original down payment because you will run out of money eventually. So without partnering or other creative methods. I would say just being more familiar with the different types of loan products and strategies out there.
Yeah, definitely second all that. I'd probably say that, I think I mentioned this on the last one. I just can't stress the importance of like being willing to partner with somebody. Like Michael and I have done more deals in the last year than I've probably done in the last, few years, 5-6 years. So I think that's really important from like a management perspective. Like we can split up tasks. He's got his own money. I have my own money. So we're kind of like doubling the pool of money. Like it's not easy to save for a down payment. It's difficult. Like 20% of $100,000 property, which is like basically a burned down single family, like in this market, is 20 grand. Like that's not chump change, plus 10 for closing costs or so. It's like, 30 grand is, even with a decent W-2 job, is a lot. So like partnering with somebody and really divvying up the tasks, bringing extra money to the pool that you have to play with is paramount. I think it's really important.
I love that you said that, because I think so many people can relate to that. So many people hear about the big paychecks and they think, oh yeah, it's going to be, but it isn't just like chump change to everyone to like do that. Going into partnerships, I kind of know how you guys met, but could you talk about how you guys came together and like built that trust? Because I feel like that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We met on Bigger Pockets. I feel like we're on a dating thing.
Yeah.
It's we met on Bigger Pockets. I think Michael reached out to me. I was pretty heavy posting, on that site for a long time. I was doing a lot of articles and whatever. I was writing for them, and I think he had reached out, and come to find out we owned a duplex. We both owned duplexes on the exact same street, literally stone's throw. Like you could hit each other's houses. Like that's
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I think I was doing a burr on a 3-family, and he stopped over and we kind of talked and hit it off more or less. And I think we just have like very similar mindsets and goals and sort of ambitions, and it kind of just works together. So I think that's how it got started. Yeah.
What is the how do you balance each other out? I know you said you're very similar. Are there someone who has like is stronger in one thing and someone stronger in the other? Like, is there that kind of, how does it work, I guess? Because sometimes it can butt heads, and I've heard so many people who are afraid to partner with someone because of that.
Yeah. I guess what was kind of good is that we slowly started dating, right? We would constantly talk about each other's portfolios without actually owning anything together. But what are you doing for this? What kind of lease are you doing for this? Are you increasing their rents for this? Where are you looking to buy your next property? Did this work? What lenders? What agents do you use? So we were constantly like feeding off each other. And eventually when it came together, where it made sense to go on a deal, we both each had our own experience and expertise to bring to the table. As we currently stand, I would say Ryan does a lot more like the direct mail campaigns and the marketing and a lot of the more management of the properties. Now that I'm a licensed real estate agent, I do all of our brokerage work. So whether that's, contract work, buying, listing, leasing, screening tenants, doing, finding, filling vacancies, and connecting with other maybe private money investors. So that's kind of my role, but we both do, property management, but I'd say Brian's definitely a little bit more heavy on that. So.
Okay. That's awesome, you guys.
Yeah.
If there are any cons, but I'd like to hear the pros and cons, like what, just so that people have if they're thinking about it, what do they need to be kind of prepared for going into like being a landlord and doing property management? And I guess, but do tell the pros. I know there are a ton of pros. You've already mentioned a lot of them, but just to kind of give a transparency to people that it's not all sunshine and daisies.
Oh, I can't even tell you how far from that it is. I've had so many crazy stories that there's completely not appropriate for any sort of broadcast, but there's going to be days where you literally want to pull your hair out. You can't, you're like, there's still days where I'm like, I'm selling everything. I'm over it, done, see you later.
Hiring a property manager.
Yeah. This is game over. It's just the biggest thing for me. I think I wrote an entire article on Bigger Pockets about this. Like, I haven't perfected, but I'm getting better at just breathing. Like, if tenant texts you and it's some crazy thing and he's like, roasting you for doing this or not doing that, or just, not being on top of, requests that he made. It's just like part of you wants to be like, almost be on the offensive and be like, hey, I am doing things right, and just kind of give it back to him. But it's like, you have to really sit back and run it like a business. Like, I'm really sorry you feel this way, but, I've already contacted my contractor. I'm expecting him out there next week. I really appreciate your patience, and I'm sorry that it's taken, an extra week to get this done for you. I always include, for you. It's, my focus is always kind of making them happy. Everything's within reason. I'm not going to, paint the walls gold or anything, but, if something's broken, I'm getting things done right away. But it's far from sunshine and rainbows. But on the flip side, it's, to go back to what we were talking about before, it's the residual income is awesome. It's incredible. Like, it's the way, we're both going to be able to quit our jobs eventually. And that's kind of the end goal.
I love that. Mike, you got anything to add to that?
We covered it all for the most part. I mean, like I said, we could write a book about all the horror stories. You just have to remember that it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? So, keep at it. There most likely will be, there will be times where you want to give up or quit or just get out of the industry altogether because you're going to get burnt between a tenant, a deal, anything. But again, if you can just kind of look at the bigger picture, at least that's what we keep telling ourselves. Look at the bigger picture, because one day it will be rewarding.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm sure it feels really great when rent day comes and you get all the checks coming in. That probably feels pretty nice.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Josh, our VP of sales, is my landlord. So I always tell him, hey, you probably feel really good today.
Yeah,
I know how much you're getting.
That's awesome.
I wanted to ask you about, you were talking about your contractor. I feel like, and I know this was a pain point for David, was finding someone who could do maintenance or be the maintenance person, like that would be consistent and everything. How did you find your guy? Like, how did you find someone that is so on top of it and like?
Yeah, it's not, unfortunately, it's not just a guy, it's multiple people. It's extremely difficult, at least for us, to find a reliable general handyman. It's like next to impossible, because a contractor, which is a handyman, so to speak, most likely is not going to come over and fix a light bulb. Like, he wants the $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 jobs. Like, he's not going to come over just to fix something stupid. So you've got to, and it's not bad. Like, we've pieced it together. Like, we have an electrician, we have a plumber, we have multiple plumbers, we have, a guy that will definitely do some painting, and just kind of pieces it together. And it's like I said before, it's like as simple as just, hey, Jacques, hey, Marcin, I need you to go and fix this or that. And it's just, we kind of like developed our own team as opposed to having just a general handyman.
Okay. I was about to say that was just a huge pain point for him. It was just like, he would find someone, then like you said, it'd be like, well, they wouldn't answer after a certain time because they were tired of the tiny jobs. And especially if someone's looking to do it in a different market, because all of yours are in the same market, right? Like all of your properties. Okay. Yeah. There was something else. I totally just had it on the top of my head. We were talking about that. We were talking about that. Sorry, guys. It's the end of the day. My brain starts to like go fuzzy. What's your goals for this year? Like, how many units do you guys want to add on?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at so obviously our funds are limited, even together. We're certainly more interested in more commercial properties. So let's say 5 units and above. And through our direct mail campaigns, we've actually reached out and got the contacts and got the dialogue going between a number of off-market property, owners of properties. And a lot of good deals, but we're just, we have more deals than we have money. So
Yeah.
we started networking with some other real estate investors and putting, I guess that's what's kind of cool about real estate. It's so creative. There's so many different ways to structure a deal. So we're in negotiations on like 3 different properties with other outside investors, as we'll kind of take on the management and the day-to-day, and in return we'll get equity for these properties that they're going to cash flow great, and there's going to be great upside. So we're doing that. So we'd love to, I think we have 3 right now under, or in the process of going under contract. 3, one's a 9 unit, and then 2 are other 8 units. So I can't do math that quick, but 20 something units right there.
My gosh.
And then we'd love the opportunity. We found a 21 unit deal in a market next to ours that is significantly undervalued. I hope he's not listening to this.
Yeah.
And we would
Posted for a little bit, so like just lock it up real tight.
Yeah, exactly. We would love, 21 units, that'd be the biggest property we'd own. So all under one roof. And there's a lot of value add to be had. So that, I think for me, that's the biggest goal. Is that would be a perfect cash out refinance opportunity where you go in and you get all your money back and then some. So it's that's the goal.
And what are you at right now, unit wise?
I sold 2 properties. I'm at 21 units. I think you're 18 or so.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, those 3 properties, so the 9, the 8, and the 8, and then another 7 that might come from one of the 8s, all DealMachine.
Yeah.
All DealMachine.
I like how you put that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta throw that in there.
Well plug.
Being like, oh yeah, deal machine. Onions.
And I'm not even, trying to, oversell it at all. It's just seriously, like we do ringless voicemail, we do text campaigns, direct mail, but direct mail by and large, by far, has been more beneficial to what we're doing.
I love it. And I just love that you told us about, so when you told us about the 5 unit one, my favorite part is that the guy, like you said, the guy had gotten so many mailers, but he picked yours because you said you were local and you said
Right.
that you were, and I was like, man, that just, if people would just put that in their postcards, like that could change someone's mind like that.
That easy. Yep.
I also wanted, oh man, I always just think of things and then they go off and fly away from me. I'm sorry. Oh, and I want to be conscious of your time. But oh my gosh, I had so many things to ask you guys. Oh, I wanted to ask you. So I know you said you're not doing duplexes anymore. Would you say if someone who's like starting and wants to do that, just dive in and don't be afraid of doing like a 3+ unit, or should they start off doing a duplex because it's only 2 units?
Yeah, I'd say if you can stomach a little bit higher unit mix, definitely go for it. I think just for ease of lending, you want to stay in the 1 to 4 unit just because it's residential and there's a lot more options for you. You can't do a FHA or CHAFA or conventional low down loan on a 5 unit building, for example. So yeah, if you can do the 4, then absolutely take advantage of getting into a 4 unit building with little to no down. But 2 units is a great place to start as well. So yeah.
I haven't had too many people talk about loans. So Mike, I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because I know that that's a lot of people wonder about that. What I was going to ask you is, I love that you have the real estate license, because now you guys are like a Swiss Army knife full of, everything. It's, oh, you don't want to do this? Oh, you don't want to well, here we go. We can list it. Here you go.
Yeah.
I mean, how much time did it take you
to get licensed?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a long story. I'll try to be quick. So we're in Connecticut, and in Connecticut, you need pre-COVID, you need 60 hours of in-classroom experience. So just the greater Hartford of realtors, that's if you're around this area, that's the one you do. So I had 54 hours completed in classroom experience. And I did my math wrong and I thought I finished. I thought I did all 60. So I purposely skipped the class. You can't miss more than 3 classes. So I got an email saying, well, Michael, you forfeited all your classroom hours. We're going to take your money and you got to start all over. I was 1 class away. I kid you not, 1 class away. I was so upset. I'm still upset about it. It's 2 years ago. that I said, you know what, I'm good. So I kind of took some time to calm down, and Massachusetts offers reciprocity with Connecticut. And what's great about Massachusetts is that they're like Netflix. They are pick up and on demand as you want. So I signed up for the Massachusetts exam. I did my, 60 hours all from my own couch. I took the exam in Springfield. I immediately applied for reciprocity. So technically I'm licensed in Connecticut and Mass, but I just do really Connecticut business. So
This is I'm so glad I asked this, because there's going to be someone out there that's going to go add up all their hours right now.
well, with COVID, actually, you can, I believe Connecticut offers online classroom learning. So to get the 60 hours. So it's a good time to get licensed.
Yeah, no, that's so good to know. And I like asking for different states, because like Illinois, it was like 70 hours you needed.
Oh, wow.
And so and I just learned this about New England, where you guys are just so interconnected that state lines just are kind of like not a thing, I guess. Because I was interviewing someone from New Hampshire, and his brother was in Boston, and I was like, oh, do you guys see each other a lot? He's like, oh yeah, we just are like 40 minutes away from each other. And that just blows my mind, that you guys are all just right there. So that's really cool that you had that connection for Massachusetts. So I can't believe they forfeited all of your hours. That's just so sad.
Oh, I was so mad. I will never forget it.
Mike was just like, no, you know what? You're not getting me as a real estate agent. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. So it's okay. We're here now.
And do you use the MLS I know you said for like background checks, you use a lot of what you can use as in a brokerage. So you use that in the investing side as well?
Yeah.
Too?
So when we screen our tenants, when you're a licensed realtor, you have access to an app called Forewarn, which does like a small background check. So that's just like a preliminary search. But we also use a site called Cozy that it's $40 for the tenant. Once we get to the point where, yes, they're interested, and yes, we would accept you contingent upon, your background coming in okay. We use Cozy Co, which does, again, it's $40. We don't get a dime of it. It goes right to the site, but it gives us a credit and background check for the tenant. So
do you guys list your properties on like Craigslist, or where do you put?
Yeah, so I strictly use Facebook Marketplace, and it's knock on wood, I'm 100%, like 100 for 100 in terms of getting decent tenants from there. I'm able to kind of do my own little pre-screen background by kind of going through their profiles, and you find out a lot about someone when you go through. I mean, you can just on their homepage and their wall, I guess, right? You see what they're saying to other people, and you ask them these pre-screening questions as to not waste your time and their time coming to view your apartment, and then you kind of do your background check, and it's worked out really well.
Yes, I'm exclusively on that. Actually, since we started using Buildium, it's really nice because once you get it all set up on it, you literally click one button and it actually posts like Facebook, Zillow, I think three or four other ones just automatically. But by and large, it's all Facebook.
Yeah,
that's so genius too. Like you said, you can go ahead and just screen them from their Facebook page.
Exactly.
You can tell a lot about someone off their Facebook page. So that's
really good.
Yes.
I want to be very conscious of your time. I really appreciate you guys getting on here and talking with me. I'd love to stay connected and maybe like touch base more frequently, so that way we can like catch up and hear about the 20-some unit that you're going to close for Steel. Right? Knock on wood.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
But again, I just really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this in the evening.
Yeah, I mean, I personally enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be willing to do it again.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about this all day anyway, so it's no different.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to as well. Like, how many deals would you guys ever be interested in doing a webinar with David?
Yeah.
Okay, because it'll be even more questions than what I give you, because it'll be just random, like people asking questions about it. But you guys do so many deals and you use this on marketing, and that's what we look for, is people who can help other members, like kind of, use us and utilize us, where some people just kind of, like, I would love for you to tell them what you put on your postcards. So many people ask about that. So definitely hit you guys up for that, but I'll send you the link for the shirts too. But thank you guys again. If you need anything, let me know. My cell phone's on the bottom of my signature.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Bye.